Hello Star Wars The Old Republic players. Yesterday we had the long-awaited livestream for Game Update 7.3. The update will be called Old Wounds. And they went through a couple of things that are coming with this update, including a lot of details on what's the next story, economic changes, PvP changes, and other things. So let's start with the big one that a lot of you always want to know is what's next for the story of the game. So the story is going to go back to Darth Malgus' story, where we're gonna be searching for clues for the mysteries of Darth Maul. As the last story ended, Sahar has this Datacron that has the secrets about this weapon that was there in Elam, but your character and the Alliance have no idea what that holocron does or means. So with this update, we're still investigating what that means. And through those investigations, it's going to take us to talk to a lot of returning characters and familiar faces. They gave us a little sneak peek of the story by giving us this little clip of Darth Riddick and Tau Idair confronting each other, and they're gonna duel it out in this mysterious temple that seems to be holding some kind of lightsaber on it. We didn't really get too much about it, but maybe this takes place on the brand new Flashpoint. We're gonna discuss that in a little bit. But that gives you a little sneak peek of some of the characters we're going to be seeing there. Characters that you didn't think would meet each other because they were all mostly exclusive to the faction. Another character that's going to be back is Darth Malgus himself. You're going back to the prison and you're going to talk to him, try to get him to drop some more information, and you're going to bring him an artifact that's probably going to convince him to tell you a little bit about it. So we'll see what Malgus has to tell us about this mysteries of Darth Maul. We're also going to catch up with Shay Bisla just to get an idea of how things are going, because she's still obviously hunting for Heta after the showdown in Runuk. We're also going to meet up with Sana Ray, who was investigating this other artifact in another planet, and depending on your choice, you send Arkan or her to investigate directly the planet. But either way, she's still involved in that investigation. But if you send in Arkan, you're gonna have a one-on-one with Arkan as well, talking about that experience. Another character that returns is Thorin Kadera. You're gonna have a private conversation with him after the situation that happened in Runuk. He's gonna talk to you about what it means to be a Mandalorian and what it means to be part of Clan Kadera. As you may have seen on the last story bit, his Kadera banner was burned by Heta. So we're gonna see a little bit more of what is his reaction to that. All this story is going to lead us to a new landing area on Boss, which is going to have new side missions, new achievements, new decos, and new armor sets. So there's going to be a lot to explore in the boss. I imagine we're going to meet a lot of the old boss characters. And the story also says it's going to continue with the Shrine Restoration Initiative, which is making the boss and the Gormak rebuild after the destruction of the Eternal Empire, which I think is a very interesting point because in the Eternal Throne, the very first chapter is Veiling practically destroying Boss, a lot of the areas of Boss, including the temples and stuff. So it will be interesting to see what is actually going on right now that they're trying to fix it. So they show us a little bit of footage of what this new area of Boss looks like. Obviously it retains a bit of the aesthetics that it originally had, but we're going to see some brand new decoration and aesthetics overall. There's also these very mysterious temples and stuff, which I imagine is the things that we're going to be exploring. So some of these things that we're seeing right now that look like really nice decorations are probably going to be also some of the new decorations that we can get. There's also going to be, of course, new characters, and this new character is a Gormak named Kudom. You're also going to meet another boss character, Maiten Ja. So this is probably going to be something familiar feeling to those planetary kind of missions. My guess would be that there's some kind of secret temple on Voss that's going to be connected to all this mystery of Null. Because we are going to get a Flashpoint on this planet as well. And there's also new armor sets themed to Voss overall, retaining that Voss style. I think it's really nice for those that love the more traditional classical style of armors of the Old Republic. This is a great comeback for you all. So after showing us that, they went into detail on the new Flashpoint. The new Flashpoint is going to be repeatable with group and or solo content. The overall story as a whole is that 2 Voss mystics have gone missing, and many believe that this Shrine of Silence is cursed, and these 2 Voss mystics were brave enough to go in there despite all the spookiness that they were saying about this shrine, and well, they disappeared. So now we gotta investigate what is going on in this Shrine of Silence. It's gonna have story, veteran, and master mode. They show us a little bit of the design of one of the boss fights, and it's gonna be a Voranticus. If you know the meme, well, Voranticus is back and it's coming for a vengeance. You can see there's gonna be a whole new type of encounter as it has this whole new radius animation, which is looking pretty interesting. They also went into details about what is the curse that is in this temple, which is said to be created by Sith's experimentation from centuries ago. It goes into the spirit world and corrupts its victims. And this curse is actually this last final boss, which you see here in this art. So how it will look in the final piece is going to be interesting, as this is very plant-like, and I don't think we've seen a very plant-like creature before on the game. So that's it on the story side of things. Now we're going to move on to the PvP changes, where the main thing about this PvP changes is that they're improving the medals once again. Last time they did it for the Jabin and Alderaan type of war zones, but they're improving them again for the other modes, which include SWTOR, where defeating players near the door of the objective will increase your points for defenders and attackers, increase defender points when guarding the door overall. Novair Coast, defeating players and successfully guarding your objectives. Essentially, they're trying to give you more medals for being a person that's in the objective defending and playing near the objective. But the big one that I think for me is Hot Ball. Hot Ball is the hardest one to get medals because it's very specific to just making goals right now. But now if you're defeating players near end zones and defeating ball carrier, an entire team will be rewarded when team scores. That's a very important one because there's people that you pass the hot ball to and then they get all the points and you get nothing, even though your pass was essential for that. So this is a very good changes that really amplifies people really going for that win on the hot ball. So I think overall these are going to be really good changes for PvP. The new PvP season will begin on July 18 and will run for 12 weeks. And they show us the brand new armor that's coming for that season. So it kinda has a similar aesthetic to the Samurai previous one, but it also has a unique flair to it, like it's a bit more droid-like, I would say. But it looks interesting. I still kind of prefer the current one we have than this one, but we'll see. So the other thing that they're changing with this update is the credit economy. As in previous patches, they were doing some economical changes. They're doing so with 7.3 as well, where they're making new taxes for secure trade, basically trading between players. Also making taxes for mail, collect on deposit, and based on credit value and some item values in a transaction, to tackle people trading outside of the GTN, because the problem with that is that people were selling at huge prices outside of the GTN. And then on top of that, they were not getting taxed for it at all. They were basically avoiding taxes. So that's one of the issues that was causing a lot of inflation. So that's why they want to focus to players to sell a lot more in the Galactic Trade Network. And as part of that, they're going to make an overhaul to the Galactic Network. It's not happening on 7.3, but they're working on it and they're gathering right now feedback from anyone that still wants to pop in on the forums and type some ideas they want to have with it. Right now, this is the things that they said so far that they're working on. The overhaul is to increase the usability, make finding what you want easier. Eventually, market data will help buyers and sellers reach fair prices with a shift to a commodity market. They're also making adjustments to the buyout price limit, adjustment to taxes to a progressive scale based on price. Just a few things they gave us of an idea of the vision they have with the Galactic Trade Network. So in terms of cartel market for 7.3, they gave us a sneak peek of two weapons, which are blasters. The Hermit's Vigil, which is an Obi-Wan inspired blaster. This is based on the show where Obi-Wan basically used a blaster for a little bit. And the other one is CP2 Briar Pistol, which is inspired by Caitian's own blaster in Andor. Another thing of note is the Knife Life event will begin on July 11, 2023. It will run for 6 weeks and it will include new rewards, including the High Roller's Gift was the first thing that they preview us for this stream, but there's gonna be a few more things along the way. They'll also be working on community stuff where the community team, content creators, or marketing initiatives will be handing out a community mount, and the community manager hinted that this mount could be a jetpack. So stay tuned for that. And as a reminder, although I already said this on my previous video, but just a quick recap, May the 4th has already begun today. You can get this brand new BX-23 mini pet droid. Double XP event is now active, and the 50% off collection sale is also active. Lastly, the public test server will be opening very soon. It should be sometime this week or next week, is what Moscow said in terms of timeline. And that's it for everything that dropped with Star Wars The Old Republic's live stream for Game Update 7.3. I'm going to put all the links of all the recaps and the full live stream thought so you can watch it yourself in case there's something that you want more details with. I just try to give you a quick summary of everything because it was pretty jam-packed of a lot of stuff to cover. Anyways, see you next time.